Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to be doing a playthrough of Middara. We're continuing this epic campaign. We are in Act 2. We're moving into one of the side quests, but at the end of the last episode, I asked people whether or not we should have Melody live or if we should remove her from existence, I guess you could say. And the most votes I got for was let her live. So before we go into what is going to be the story moments of this game and into the actual encounter, I want you to know what story moments you can listen to catch up to where we are in this story. Since we did decide to let her live, we're going to be moving into this story moment right here. It's called It's Not Our Decision to Make. And once you've listened to that, you can move to Continue a New Visitor. Following the conclusion of that story, the last one I think is Back at Padric's. And that will bring us to a shop and train story round ending area called Romstead Recreation. If you're interested in wondering where you can listen to any of these things, I'll put multiple links in my description of the video so that you can find out what has happened in the story. I don't want to go all the way through because it takes a long time to read through all the story moments, so I want to make sure that everybody has a chance of listening to. Now, once you finish listening to them, come back here and you'll be able to continue the playthrough. Now, let's jump into Middara, and if you're excited to see how Rook, Zeke, Remy, Nightingale, and all the rest continue this wonderful adventure, then I need you to meet me at the table.
Hello, good morning. Open up your eyes. Hello, good morning. The magic's still inside. Never loved you more than I do now. Living in a sentimental city, right next to an evil town. Hello, good morning. Open up your eyes. Hello, good morning.
I want to give everybody a refresher as to our wonderful adventurers and what they have equipped. So far we have Remy right here. She has that wonderful top-heavy axe that does an absolute massive amount of damage. If it hits, it's awesome. She also has a BA leather jacket as well. We've seen these multiple times in action. The core she's still rocking is her defensive core. That has not changed from anything we've done. She does have a fight drive and enchanted piercing, which is going to give her the ability to re-roll any roll on any die. That's a once per encounter thing, where this is also once per encounter to make an attack. She does have that swashbuckling garb, which is sweetness. It gives her conviction upgrade X, where X is equal to one of your equipped combat dice. So right now it is teal. Increase the cost of this item by more, but we don't have to worry about that because we already bought it. And it has the exhaust ability to counter. This is our only consumable here that allows us to heal 3. She has these abilities down here. These also haven't changed. She has Chain of Command, Hammer Helm, and Quick Blow to be able to attack as many times as we possibly can with this top-heavy axe. Where she stands right now, she does have 5 experience points, and we do have a total of 66 gold. Now, I'm trying to save up for this. I think this would be super cool. This is actually sitting in the shop. For $100, I could get this for Remy, which I think would be really cool. We did also get this in the last game we played, but I'm not sure if we're going to equip this. Let's take a look at Zeke and see if it's worth it. Here we see Zeke. He still has his deflection core, his Bearer of Justice, which is his super bow. We might need to be upgrading that pretty soon. And then he has his occult shirt, and that is where we have to see which one of these is worth it. This one right now gives us 3 health and 1 speed, and has the dodge ability and the ability to get +1 to our defense if we roll a skull. Where we have this, which doesn't give us plus to health, gives us the same speed, but gives us 1 defense, so the only difference is he gets 3 health on the occult shirt, but 1 defense on this. The bottom part is exactly the same. I can exhaust it to dodge, and if I'm able to successfully dodge, I get to counter, and the passive is still the same as well. I get +1 shield when I roll a skull during a dodge. If I don't roll a skull, I get to add +1 to the roll. So I think I'm going to keep this off him for now. I think this is better to have more hit points, because right now I only have a total of 12 + 3 would be 15, and I don't want him to go down. Meanwhile, if you look at the rest of the stuff he still has that quiver, which allows it to equip an arrow as though it did not take up a relic slot. So this doesn't take up a relic slot, but I still kept it down here. And then I'm allowed to, you're limited to having only one quiver item equipped at a time. It can increase, let's see here, and then I can exhaust this when you make an attack to reroll any single die except a black die. He also has a fight drive, allows him to make an extra attack at least once per encounter. Now these true flight arrows are sweet. So with the quiver, I need to start buying some arrows, which is something we could have purchased at the shop, but again, I'm trying to save my money for that super awesome weapon. It says when you make an attack, gain +1 to range, you're limited to having one arrow, and I can exhaust this before you make an attack the target cannot dodge. That's going to be sweetness, but we haven't found too many non-dodging enemies. He has a smoke bomb if he needs to get away, which might help, and other than that, that is Zeke. He does have a new ability down here. We've killed the messenger, and we have down the masses, but I also picked up this, because this I think will be really good. If you have a two-handed weapon equipped, ranged weapon, equipped, you can equipped make attack. This attack gains +2 to normal range value. And if the attack roll is at least 4 higher than the target's defense, including any defense added from any abilities, the attack gains 5 irreducible damage. 5 irreducible damage. Yep, I said it again. 5 irreducible damage. Oop, that's bonkers. So if I can make that hit and fire off, that's pretty much one dead enemy almost instantly. Hoofda, that's quite a powerful attack. The next person we have is Nightingale. Nightingale has a few things that are different. I don't think actually it's too much different. Defensive core in her leather jacket is still the same. She still has this inscribed casting rod. It's a two-handed rod, so she's only carrying the one rod. She did get a new power. It's called Life Grasp, is the one I decided to get. I asked also for help in what we should buy for anything, but nobody gave me any ideas. So I just picked this one up. I thought it'd be kind of cool. Cast spell 6 against up to 3 different opponents within Sphere of Influence. I could deal magic damage equal to the difference rolled then on their failed conviction checks. After rolling determine the force of the spell, I could take 6 irreducible damage to add +6 to roll. So if I really needed a spell to stick, that's the way to do it. Now 6 health is quite a blow, but remember she still has her sentient bodysuit, so at the status point she always is going to be able to heal 1. She does have an hyper HP drink, which will help a little bit. And the rest of the thing she has is her Wand of Missiles, where once per encounter I can increase her Sphere of Influence by 2. She has Root the Mind, Gore Shot, and these are the ones she's had. She also has this infection that she got. It does say right here, exhaust, deal yourself unreducible damage to reduce this SP cost of an action or ability you are making by 1. So that she has multiple ways of being able to make all this stuff fire off. It's pretty sweet. Last we have Rook. Rook has his apocryphal antiquity, probably terribly said. We also have his ability Chorus Cuirass, which does still have that bulky on it, which gives him the heavy tag, but also gives him more defense. Remember, our goal was to try to get him as much defense as possible so he can do some damage with it. He does still have that Maw of the Warden we were able to get, which is pretty sweet. And over here, he's got his Ethereum Cotier, which should help us out quite a bit here. It allows me or an ally to reroll a die, from what I understand how that works. We also get an immunity to poison, and this is kind of interesting because as we play through this, this might actually make a difference. It does say right here, I can flip this, and when non-boss opponents within Sphere of Influence start their turn until the end of the turn, treat all of the instructions on the AI step as if you were the only opponent on the board, which might help quite a bit. Then once it flips, it doesn't do anything for the rest of the game, but so it's a one-time use. I did buy a new power for him called Invincible. Since we did lose a couple people last time, it says when another ally within Sphere of Influence would be defeated by an opponent, they are not defeated. Instead, they heal 2 purple dice dealt of irreducible damage equal to the amount healed. Or, sorry, I'm dealt damage equal to that. So it technically could kill me trying to help somebody else, but who knows? I did give him some healing potion up here, and he does have a hangover elixir, which allows him to, actually it's kind of cool. It allows him to use an ability that costs 3 or less and reduce the cost of that ability to 0. So it's pretty interesting he can do that. Now, I don't know how often I'm going to be using something like that, but you never know. Like I said, I'm going to keep all 66 gold, and we're going to continue on our adventure, and I think what we're going to do is the side quest, Padric's Lost Shotgun. So we're going to go to 102, which after listening to the commentary or the narration on it, we're going to be going to the Geovaden ambush. And here it says, Two large dogs eye you from either side of the path. In front of you, a large tree blocks most of your view, preventing you from seeing deeper into the forest. Padric makes it clear that by sticking to the road, the path to his shotgun should be easier. He does mention a hidden entrance to the tunnels nearby that should lead to the same place, but it's a longer route. So we'll be setting up our board in this fashion. We have our blue exit token here. We're going to start over here. These are going to be our totems out here. We have a little special icon over here with a treasure chest of unknown color. And we have two Geovadins we have to take care of. Our win condition is that our adventurer must end their turn on the blue exit. There is an achievement we can try to get, which I don't think I've ever gotten an achievement in my life. It says, if an adventurer moves out of 7 different hindering terrain spaces without the flight ability and killed an opponent in the same turn, read the following hidden text. Guarantee you that's probably not going to happen. Some more special rules talk about Padric, weaponsmith at the Dragon Arms. It says when setting up the encounter, reveal his small and large hidden cards MU6 to access Padric's initiative and combatant cards. These cards will be used during the encounter. Padric follows the rules of an adventurer, even though he uses a command card. And here's Padric's card real quick to take a look at it. He does start with 3 stamina right up here. I've put them over on the side. And right here it says Artificer. Padric starts with 4 energy tokens, which I've located right here. These tokens are spent to do actions listed below. Also, he is a Royal Guardian. Whenever Padric is dealt damage by an opponent, I'm going to gain back 1 of these energy tokens. And Padric does have an ability whenever he gets a star on his dice, I can do a follow-up, I gain a dodge token. So that's all the different things he can do for passive. Now when you go to activate him, of course, you can use these to do different things over on this side, and some of them may also use these energy tokens. For example, if I decided to use throwing knives, I would have to I would exhaust him, spend 1 energy token, and do a throw of 1 purple dice worth of damage. And those are very similar to the throwing knives. It would also cost me 1 stamina to do that. Where if I wanted to, I could just use the silver gauntlet here and just make an attack. And of course, our attack dice are located right here. He has the red dice. He does have 2 armor, 6 speed, 11 defense, and 16 health. Here's his conviction dice. He doesn't have any casting dice, of course, because he's not a spellcaster. And here are all his different attributes if he has to make a particular test. There are some 0 point things here he can do, where I can spend an energy token and then you or an adjacent ally can heal 3. So he does have the ability to do that. It's called his Vitality Drink. And he also has Like the Shadows. I can exhaust him to move 2 spaces. This movement does not provoke break attacks. It's very similar to the Subterfuge ability, which is kind of cool. And of course, his last one is this Magic Balm. I can spend an energy token to remove an effect from an ally within Sphere of Influence. So he's got a lot of cool things you can do with this guy. I'm excited to see what he can do on the battlefield. There are more special rules here real quick. Following your lead, it says that after you deal the initiative cards, we'll move Padric to the back of the initiative track. And ambushed, after dealing the initiative cards, move the Geovadin up 1 spot on the initiative track. Also, there's a thing called Strange Cracks. It says a special terrain printed on tile UM35 has no effect. We have set up the board exactly how it told us to, with a few exceptions. 1, I have seemed to misplaced my colored totem markers. So these are going to be the 2 different totems for the board. Normally these are actually aggro tokens, but I'm using them for totem tokens for this particular encounter. I've put all our characters right here. And before we go too much further, I think I want to switch Rook and I want to switch Nightingale here, just like, now I'll keep it just like that. Rook, Nightingale, because remember, once you put your characters down, then you're going to shuffle the initiative card. So you need to have your characters all set up first. And without further ado, we're going to take our initiative cards, give them a good old truffle shuffle here, and deal them out to see who goes when. Hopefully we can go before these Geovadins and maybe get to them. All right, Rook is going first. That's pretty sweet, followed by Zeke. Love it. Then we've got Padric, then the Geovadin, Remy, and finally we have Nightingale. Before we take Rook's turn, we do have to switch these 2 cards. First off, Padric is going to the bottom. Then the Geovadin is going to jump 1 spot due to the ambush. So that is the initiative track ready to go just like that. We will start still with Rook, but then they get to go. The first thing Rook is going to do is he is going to gain Barrier. And I'm going to do that by casting my Mage Armor spell, which is going to cost me 1 stamina point. Because Mage Armor itself does state that you reduce the SP cost of the discipline by 1 if the target is an ally other than yourself. Well, it's not. So an ally within the sphere of influence gains Barrier. Then I have to exhaust that particular ability. And so I'm just going to put this token on to remind myself instead of having to keep flipping all these cards all over the place. I think this is going to be a way better plan to use these little beads to show what things I've done already. Now before I continue my move, let's quickly look at this card to see if there's anything tricky this thing might do if I try to get close to it. It has Agile up here, so the first time each turn the Geovaudan is attacked, it can dodge. It also has, when the Geovaudan successfully dodges an attack, it gains Courage, which is going to be terrible. I think it gives him +1 to about all of the different ways of doing damage. Here is our Courage token right here. It shows that you're able to, when attacking, it gains all these different things. This, and this. I discard this if you miss. So that's going to be terrible. That's, of course, if it actually successfully dodges, so hopefully it doesn't, and then we don't have to worry about that. Next, it has the first time each turn the Geovaudan can, it will counter with an attack and up to reach 2. So there's a lot of dodging and stuff this thing's going to do. And if you've noticed, the name of this is now a Grizzled Geovaudan. And that's because on the back, similar to our Cave Sickles, it does say that these Geovaudan spawned are Grizzled Geovaudans and use the Grizzled Intelligent Combatant card instead under the following circumstances. And it says if the current loot level is common, and we are playing on a common loot level, which is why you're playing with a more difficult creature here. Then it has all its different steps it can do, starting with, is their opponent adjacent, it's going to make an attack, then move to be up to reach 2 from the farthest opponent during the action and +4 movement, then make an attack with reach 2. This thing bounces around and runs all over the place. And it wants to actually leave you and make it attack, and you do like response attacks because it's got all these dodges and ability to stop, to go and attack you even after dodging and things of this nature. So it's a really unique monster. I'm really a fan of how this particular creature is so much different from the Cave Sickles and Loas that we've fought. Quickly, just looking at the rest, it does say if there's an opponent in reach 2, it's going to make an attack with reach 2, followed by pulling them in with a force of 11. So far, the one thing we don't want to do is be adjacent to this thing. Then it also says, can it move and attack an opponent within reach 2? It'll move up to reach 2, then from the nearest opponent, then make an attack within reach 2, and then move to be up to reach 2 from the farthest opponent, and then within movement range, then attack within reach 2. So our best bet is to try to get this thing to be, is there an opponent within reach 2? That seems to be our best plan to try to keep this thing from bouncing all over the place. But sadly, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to be able to get to him, I don't think, to make this particular action be the one that I want to have happen. Of course, this thing has 18 health, 12 defense, no armor, 6 movement, and it rolls a teal and green die and has no casting dice. But it does have a white and a teal for conviction. Interestingly, using my superior tactics and ability, if I move, this thing can potentially be able to get to me. It's going to move a total of 6 spaces, but of course, if it can't do any of its particular actions, it's not even going to activate. So we have to at least get it so it can do something. So this thing could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and at reach 2, 1, 2, attack me there. That's the deal. So I think we are going to spend 1 stamina point to move. So we're going to get rid of that stamina point, and we are going to move 1, 2, or we're going to move 1, 2. Now, once I get to that particular spot, we will have line of sight on that totem right there. There is no red areas in between that. So from here I could not, it would still be blocked by that tree right here. But from where I am now, I now have access to that totem. And that particular one is the red totem. Like I said before, I don't have these 2 totems. I seem to have lost all my totems except for the blue one. I don't know why. So this one is going to be removed, and we are now going to read the red totem part. It states a small pond on the far end of the clearing morphs into a sudden shape. Spawn 1 water loa on the space this totem occupied. I actually had a feeling that might be what happened because it's a water space and there's a totem sitting on it and we only had 2 enemies on the board. Of course we need more enemies. We need a water loa. I've put our Water Loa initiative card into the track. It always goes right after the person that has spawned the monster. We also have the Water Loa character card here. Now this character card hasn't changed. It's still the same from the original Water Loa. They haven't met the criteria to upgrade them to their higher, more powerful points of character. So we're going to continue moving, I guess. Still have some movement points if I want to use them. I think we'll move up one more space. I don't want to have a line of sight to that yet. I have a feeling that's going to be another evil, vile thing full of monsters, or maybe there's like a Geovadin or a Earthloa even hiding behind this tree. I don't know, and I don't think I want to see what that is. So Rook is going to end right there, leaving himself with one unspent stamina point. Sadly, I am 1, 2, 3, 4. This is in my sphere of influence, but it does cost me 2 to cast my Fever spell, so sadly I can't do that. That's going to bring us to our Waterloa. Our Waterloa I don't think is going to activate it here. It says the Waterloa has Arcane and Elusive. It's not affected by Water Terrain. Let's see, we'll never choose to leave it. If there's a figure within Sphere of Influence, no. Is there more than one opponent adjacent? No. Is there an opponent within Sphere of Influence? No. Can it move and attack an opponent within range 6? No, it cannot. So this particular intelligent combatant is not going to activate. And here we go. Now it's this thing's turn. And can it move and attack to an opponent within reach 2? Yes, it can. The rest of these are not going to happen. Is there an opponent adjacent or an opponent within reach 2? No, there's not. But this one it can do. We'll activate them in order according to their card. So the red one is going to go first, followed by the purple one. So our red one is right here, and it's going to be able to move and attack an opponent within reach 2. It does have 6 speed. So if we look here, it's going to move 1, 2, and it costs an extra movement point to move out of hindering. 3, 4, 5, 6. It is still going to be able to get up to be able to attack Nightingale from where it stands. Just to go quickly through the order of combat here, we're going to pick our target. Of course, we've picked Nightingale. At this point, we're going to build up our dice pool, which is going to be a teal and a green die. Then we'll choose to either empower if one of our characters are doing this. Of course, the combatants will have an ability or something that tells them if they're going to empower or not. Then at this point, you can choose to dodge, or of course, if you're actually trying to hit one of these dogs, they would be using their dodge right now. And I do have an ability to dodge, and I am going to use it. I do have my defensive core giving me the ability to dodge, so I'm going to take one black die, roll it up, and see if we're able to get any defense for our poor Nightingale here. It's best if I actually get it into the dice tray here and see how it goes. Oh, look at that. 4 defense is amazing. So at this particular point, she now is rocking a total of 14 defense for her character. That's awesome because she gets 1 from this, 9 from her character, and then those extra 4. At this point, we're now going to roll our dice and see how the Geovadin does against us. It got a total of 12. Well, guess what? That is going to be a miss because of my 14. So it did not hit me, which is fantastic. At this point, I could decide if I wanted to counter after we calculate the final damage. And if the final damage is either complete on miss or 0, even if it does like 3 damage and we're able to block it with our armor to bring it down to 0, we could choose to counter if we wanted to by paying 2 stamina points. Now, I can't counter because it's at 2 spaces away, and I don't have a weapon with reach, so I couldn't technically counter this person. If the attack ends, it will immediately skip the follow-up steps that it has. But if we look at the Geovadin's card, they're not follow-up steps, they are than steps. So no matter what, even if it missed, it is still going to continue. It's then going to move up to reach 2 from the farthest opponent within movement range, which is going to be a total of 6. So this thing gets to move 6 more spaces, and the farthest I think is going to be Remy actually, but because it can't come through here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's not good. So the farthest it can reach is going to be Rook. 1, 2, 3, 4 to right there, and it's going to make its attack against Rook. Again, we're going to be going against this. I do have 1 stamina point. Now, he doesn't have any abilities on his from any items that allow him to dodge, but you can always spend 1 stamina point to dodge, and I do have that 1 stamina point, so why don't we use it? Hopefully we get some defense. Oh, we got a big skull. That means nothing. We didn't dodge anything. Oh, this is probably not going to be good. We'll roll up our dice, see what happens to us. It got a 7. Those are probably the worst it could possibly get on the dice. So this thing did not hit us again because I do have a 9 defense. Now, sadly, I don't have a reach weapon, or I could counterattack him, but I can't do that. So this Geovadin is actually done. It's done everything it can. It moved to be within reach 2, the nearest person. It attacked, then it moved to be the farthest person within movement range, and then made an attack, and then that is it. It's time for the next one to go, and it's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4 to right here to be at reach 2 to Rook at that particular spot. So let's make an attack again against Rook. I don't have any way to dodge. It's not going to be empowering. We're just going to roll our 2 dice and hope that it doesn't do very well. Uh-oh. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. A 12 is a hit. I only have 10 defense, so that means it has beat me by 2. Now, if we look at all these little extra things here, the shields are all going to be +1 damage, and the star is going to be +2 physical damage, and the book is going to be 1 physical. Oh, sorry, the book is an armor piercing. Oh no, that's terrible because I've got an absolute ton of armor. I've got a total of 5 armor amongst my character here, but now it's going to go down to 4 with that book, meaning I'm going to take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total damage. -4 is 2 damage from this thing. Rook starts with 20 health. He is now down to 18. Then we're going to move up to reach 2 from the farthest opponent within movement range. Now, if we move around, we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which would be Nightingale, or it could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to here to fight Nightingale. Either way, it's going to go after Nightingale. I'm going to move it up there to attack Nightingale from that particular spot, and let's see if she can hold her own up there. Nightingale doesn't have any more ways of dodging from any of her items or abilities, so instead she is going to pay the 1 stamina point to roll a dodge die and see how it goes. We got 2 more defense, so we're at a total of 12. Hopefully that's enough to hold on here. Oh, a 6 and a 3 is a 9. Oh wait, that's a 9. Are you kidding me? 9, 10, 11, 12. So a 12 does hit, just barely hits. So since it does hit, it so far is doing 0 damage. But here we go, look at this. It's going to do, I guess, it's going to do 0, so now it's 1, 2, 3, 4 damage with an armor piercing of 1. And I do have 1 armor, so at this point I'm taking 4 damage. I can't do anything about it. Nightingale starts with 18 health, so she is down to 16. Starts with 12 on her normal character. She does get a couple extra from her armor here, so that's a total of 16 from that, and then she gets 2 more from her core, bringing a total of 18, and then we have to subtract 4 damage. That was pretty rough. Moving into our turn, now that the Giovans are done, it's the rest of our team. We're going to start with Zeke in the initiative order. Zeke is 1, 2, 3 spaces away from that one. He's going to start launching arrows like there's no tomorrow. The first thing we're going to try is our new ability, Precision Strike. We have to exhaust this ability, and after we do that, we're allowed to attack at a longer range. Well, it doesn't really matter because we're almost right next to it. But on top of that, we have to attack, and if it's at least 4 or higher than the target's defense, including any defense it gets from abilities, this attack gains 5 irreducible damage. Now, of course, the first time it's able to, it is going to dodge, but I am going to totally remove that ability as well by using my True Flight arrows. I can exhaust before you make an attack. The target of the attack cannot dodge. We're going to do that. We're going to exhaust these arrows. So we're going to be making a Precision Strike without the ability for it to dodge. Sadly, I do have to add -1 to my attack roll because Nightingale is standing in my way when trying to make this attack. We're going to use our Bearer of Justice, and there's a lot of things our Bearer of Justice does, and one of them I actually missed. It's Wilt. I can place Wilt onto a target right down here that is within sphere of influence if it has dealt 4 or more damage to an ally. So I'm going to give this thing Wilt, meaning it's going to take 2 irreducible damage when attacked. Then I am going to make my attack. Now I can spend 1 stamina point, which I am going to be able to empower this attack. And the reason I'm empowering it is because if I can manage to get up to, was it 5 shields, I'm going to do 6 extra damage. Of course, I still have to hit this thing. Let's see how this goes. I got a 7, and a 7 is a 14. And look at all those shields. Oh my gosh, this is going to be a massive hit. I'm super excited for this. So I shot this guy. It has 12 defense. I get a 14, so that's 2 over its defense. Now, sadly, that means that my actual piercing strike super ability is not going to go off, but that's okay. I'm not going to do the 5 extra irreducible, but just being able to hit this thing and do a ton of damage is going to be awesome. So let's see if we look at our symbols now. We are so far doing 14 minus 12 is 2. Then we have to spend 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means we've done 6 more. So now we're up to 8 damage. And then our star is going to give us another 1. So that's 9 damage. Then we have the irreducible damage it's going to take. So 9, 10, 11 damage. We have done 11 damage to it in 1 shot. That was absolutely bonkers awesome. I hope all my math was correct. So we'll place 11 right up here, and we're going to make another attack against this guy since I have enough stamina to do that. Now, spending my 2 stamina points to make my attack, this time he does get to do a dodge because I can't take away his dodge more than once. So he does say the first time he's attacked and is able to make a dodge, it will. The first time each turn the Geovadin is attacked, it makes a dodge roll. So it's going to make a dodge roll. It got a 3. Oh, this is terrible. It got a total of 12, 13, 14, 15. I don't even think I can hit this thing. 12, 13, 14, 15. I think I need to get an 8 and a 7. I think that's exactly what I have on these. I'm not empowering this attack. I can't tower this attack. Let's see how I do. I got a 3 and a 3. That's not enough. Now, and that's not even the lowest numbers. The reason I'm wondering about the lowest numbers, I have that ability called Kill the Messenger, where I can flip the lowest die to the highest die, but even with that, it's not going to be enough. Now, since it successfully dodged, it is going to gain Courage. So it now has a Courage token on it, which is absolutely terrible. We need to take this thing out. We need to take this thing out now. And then it also says the first time each turn the Geovadin can, it will counter with an attack up to range 2. It can't counter me because I'm 3 spaces away. So lucky for us, that is the only thing it can do. That's it. That's all it can do. I used everything that Zeke has. He was unable to hit it more than that, and that is it. It is Remy's turn next, and good news is Remy's really good at hitting things. So let's go hit something. I'm going to spend 1 of her stamina points to move. She can move a total of 6 spaces, so she is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 right here in between Nightingale and this Geovadin, and then we're going to spend our other 2 to try to hit this thing. We'll see how this all goes. That's going to spend all 3 of our stamina points to do those 2 things. Remy's coming in with her Hammer Helm card along with her Top Heavy Axe. Hopefully we get enough to hit this thing. Now, of course, this is the beginning of the next turn, or it is the next turn. So our Geovadin gets to try to dodge. Oh, look at that, all books. No dodging for you. Oh, come on, let's do some good here. Oh, no, look at this. I got a 3 and a 5. That's no good. All right, my Hammer Helm allows me to reroll any amount of combat dice I want to. I'm going to reroll both of those dice into an 8 and a 5. That's going to be so much better. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we're up by 1 right now. We have done 1 damage to this Geovadin. Let's see what else we can do to it. It's done 1. Then we get to do our symbols. So our symbols are all going to be +1 physical damage here. 1, I think we're at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're at 4 damage. Then this is going to be 2 more, 5, 6. And then the book here says, right here, I can exhaust this. When returning damage from an attack, the weapon gains book +1 physical damage until the attack is resolved. And a passive follow-up, I can spend 1 stamina point to roll a black die in if I want to. And I don't need black dice. I don't think I'm going to have to pay for this because he's already at 11 and he has 18 total. So we're done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with that wilt. That's enough to take out this Geovadin. Our first Geovadin is dead. We'll remove that one from the board, and then we have our combatant loot deck here. We've now the common loot deck. I'm going to give it a quick little truffle shuffle here. Once we get this all nicely shuffled up here, then we'll draw a loot card and see what we have got from killing off that Geovadin. All right. It should be something good. Please be something good. Please be. It's $9. All right, I'll take $9. Can't go wrong with $9. Nightingale's turn is next. She's going to move 1, 2, 3 down to here, spending 1 of her stamina points, leaving her with only 1 stamina point remaining. At this point, I am going to cast my Gore Shot, so I'm going to exhaust this with cast a spell 6. I can deal 2 damage, and then I can give myself 2 irreducible damage to deal additional magic damage equal to 2 plus the level of your highest courier discipline. And my highest courier discipline right now is level 3, so that means it's going to be 6 extra damage. So I can do a total of, 8 magic damage if I want to. Now, of course, I can only do this once a turn because I do have to exhaust this. Good news, this thing can't dodge. So I do have a casting upgrade of a teal die, so we'll roll that in and see how it goes. I got a total of 8. You can't go wrong with that. 8 plus 6 is 14 for my Gore Shot. That is super, super good. That's fantastic. Now, I do have an ability down here. I can exhaust this staff and spend 1 stamina point before the target of one of your spells makes a conviction check. So before it makes a conviction check, I can choose to do this. It says, in addition to the effect of the spell, I can deal teal damage to the person. So I am going to do that. I'm going to spend the 1 stamina point because you can't get much better than that. So I'm going to spend my 1 stamina point to do that. Now let's see how it does on its conviction check. It's going to take a white and a teal die and roll them up. Hopefully it does not beat a 14. We'll see how it goes. Nope, we got a 7. Totally missed. So it's going to be dealt 6 magic damage for my gore shot because I am going to take the 2 damage. But before I do take the 2 damage, I am going to heal myself 1, bringing myself back up to 15, but then lowering it down to 13 from taking the 2 irreducible damage to use 6 damage from Gore Shot. On top of that, I'm going to roll up a teal die to see how much more magic damage I'm able to do. Another 8! So that's 14 magic damage I did to this guy. He doesn't have any way to really block that, so he is in... he just got totally zapped. That's going to be the red one. It's taking 2 plus 4 is 14 magic damage. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that much. I'm going to try to take this guy out. I have a plan. I'm going to use my ability that Nightingale has, which allows me to give 2 stamina points to herself and 1 stamina point to all other allies. From where she is, I'm now going to cast my Life Grasp card, our new one. Again, I can spend 1 stamina point and exhaust this to cast a spell 6 with up to 3 opponents. There's only 1 that's totally fine. They'll deal magic damage equal to the difference rolled on their failed conviction check. So if, in theory, all I need to do is like 4 more damage to this thing in magic damage, and I could probably take this thing out. So this is going to be 6 plus whatever the die roll is here. Oh no, that's only a 10. I don't think this is going to work. Oh no, I was hoping I could really get this guy. I got 8, so I did a total of 2 magic damage. Oh, that's it. I was really hoping to take this guy out in 1 turn. That'd be absolutely fantastic. But we'll add 2 more damage to this guy. So we're up to a total of, what, 2 more here? It's going to bring us to 14. Oh, I forgot to flip one of these to a 3. That's the 14. So 14, 15, 16. We're 2 away from killing this thing. Oh, so close. Padric is last, and I think Padric could probably take this guy out. He's going to use his first stamina point to move. He can move a total of 6. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to right here. Then he's going to use another stamina point and one of his energy tokens in order to throw a knife. This also is going to exhaust his card, or that ability. I can only use it once. So I'm going to exhaust that. And I'm going to be able to roll a purple damage die against this Geovadin, which goes through armor, dodging, everything. It's nothing. It's just this damage die is going to be purple. Come on, I just need a 2 or better. I got a 3. That's enough to take this guy out. He is dead. We get another combatant loot card. Let's see what we have gotten this time. We got 10 gold. Oh, that's fantastic. We're up to 19 gold. I'll take it. That's awesome. That's the end of that thing. I do still have more stamina points, but for 0 stamina points, I'm going to spend another energy token and heal Nightingale for 3 damage by using my Vitality Energy Drink. Just to show you how this all played out here, here's that throwing knife, and here's the Vitality Drink. I can spend an energy token to heal an adjacent ally for 3. That's going to bring Nightingale's life total up to 16. I'm super proud of where our team is. Sadly, I can't get too excited about this. There are still a couple totems out on the board that I'm not exactly sure are what they're going to do. I will remove the Geovadin card from the initiative track. We're going to take a hold of all of these, give these a good old truffle shuffle here, and see what inspires for our wonderful adventuring crew. We'll start with a Rook again. Rook's going to go first. Then we have Remy, followed by our Waterloa. Okay, that thing can attack us almost anywhere on the board. Padric, and then we have Nightingale. Now, Padric does say he goes to the bottom of the initiative track. Now, the Waterloa does not get an ambush effect because it was only the Geovadins that did. So, there we go. There's our initiative track. Let's go ahead and start with Rook. Rook is going to gain back his stamina points. He gets 3 each turn. He is up to 4. And I use these as the tokens. Even if they're sitting at a 3 on this track up here, don't count them as 3s when it comes to the way I do things. I have these 5 spots on the board, so anytime these are filled with, or 6 I guess you could say, anytime these have tokens in them, they're all equal to 1 no matter what the number is showing on top. Starting with the beginning of this, I'm also going to unexhaust our Mage Armor, and I'm going to cast it again. I'm going to cast Mage Armor, and I'm going to cast it on Nightingale, since Nightingale is standing right next to me. Nightingale is going to gain a barrier token, and then we're going to be able to use some of our stamina to start moving. Rook has 4 stamina points. The first one we're going to use to move. And I'm going to move 1 right here. That will give me a line to that totem so we can see what this is. I could move here, but in case it's something I don't want to be next to, I don't want to be next to it. If anything, I can always move up around if I need to with the rest of my movement. Since I've only moved 1 space, I have 5 left. But let's check out what the blue totem is. I'm sure this isn't going to be good because there's nothing on the board, so I'm sure there's about to be some monsters. Let's check it out, see what it says here. Well, let's see. You slide around the tree with your weapon, ready for combat. You're relieved when nothing more is hiding there. Unfortunately, a sudden rumbling causes you to falter. The ground to the west bursts open, freeing a pack of cave sickles onto the surface. The ground you stand on cracks open at their arrival, sending the earth all around you careening into a deep cavern beneath the forest. Place tiles, tokens, and figures according to diagram 7 after placing tokens. Any figures standing on dangerous terrain is defeated unless they pass an agility 10 check. If this check is passed, place their figure on any adjacent unoccupied normal terrain space. Then if all Giovadans are defeated, read the hidden text for the special encounter rule Dozens of Giovadan. Here's diagram 7 found in the book. I'm going to be placing down some cave sickles, and we have some dangerous terrain we'll be placing. Hopefully we're not anywhere near it. Since we managed to clear out all of the Giovadans, which now might not be the greatest of plans, it says, in the distance you hear more howls. It sounds like there must be a whole pack of Giovadans nearby. Spawn 2 on any unoccupied normal terrain piece on the west side of tile UM35. Barf, 2 more. Here's where we stand. We have all of our cave sickles placed down and those tiles right where they're. Now these of course are dangerous terrain. They are pits pretty much. So we have to try to jump them or avoid them if possible. And of course when jumping over a pit, it's going to be a difficulty 10 plus 2 more for every space you're going. We'll see how this all plays out here. Of course, being as cautious as I want has put Rook in a precarious situation here. He is standing on one of the pits, so he does have to make that agility 10 check. And he is the most not agile person ever. He's got a 1 agility, so he has to roll a 9 for his check. When making an ability check, you're going to take 2 purple dice, roll them, and add your modifier that is on your character sheet. For example, Rook's is 1 for his agility. So you're going to roll both these up. And normally when you make like a jump or you can use people next to you to give them their strength to help you out. Or if you fail the check, wherever you're trying to jump to, a person can use their perception, to try to grab you as you're falling down with the same number that you normally need for the jump. But this isn't anything like that. This is just a straight agility check. So we've got to roll these and see if he's able to make it. He got a 7. That's not going to make it because that's only an 8 and he needs a 10. So we're going to have to use this, or it's going to be curtains for our good friend Rook. Once per encounter, I can use this to allow an ally, which is also could be me, within Sphere of Influence to re-roll any die that is within my Sphere of Influence. So we'll take a roll here and see what we can do. I need a better roll than a 1 on this die. I need to put it in the dice tray. We got a 5. That's 11. That is enough to make it. We were able to succeed. If he would not have made it, he would have been automatically killed by falling in that pit. At this point, since he made it, I'm able to put him in any adjacent unoccupied space. I'll put him right there. And now we have to decide. I still have a lot of movement left. I could move over here and try to start taking out some of these cave sickles, but I'm a little afraid at all these monsters coming in and ganging up on poor old Rook. Though he kind of is built to be ganged up on in a way. This is a tough call. I'm super afraid of all of these attacking, and they'll probably all attack Rook. I'm just going to move him 1 more space forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to put this one and this one into Sphere of Influence. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he could cast his Fever spell from here, which might not be a bad idea. That means these would have to come to him as opposed to standing over here, which is another option, and basically every single thing here just mobbing him and killing him, I'm sure is how that would all play out. So instead, we're going to just move him up 1, I think 2 to right here. No, we're just going to move him up 1. Perfect, just like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This guy's not in Sphere of Influence, which is actually going to be okay when you look at their AI card. So I'm going to attempt to cast, which one do I cast on? I think I'm going to cast it on this guy. This is going to give us a casting upgrade of orange. So we're going to be casting its spell 6 plus whatever I roll here is a 13. The conviction dice for our cave sickles is going to be an orange and a white. Remember, we have upgraded these cave sickles to an elder cave sickle here. So he has a conviction value of orange and white right over here. So let's see what we'll roll these up. Hopefully he gets less than 13. He got a 12. That's fantastic. So he is going to take the damage. And according to this one, I'm going to do damage equal to my armor value here. And our armor value is 5. We have 1 from barrier, 1 from our bulky thing that we have. We get 2 more from our armor, and we get 1 more from our Maw of the Warden, which gives us a total of 5 armor. So he's going to take 5 damage. That's going to be the yellow one. And so we're going to place that up on top of the card over here. We're going to place it right up on there on the card off to the side, so we know that that one has taken 5 damage. Now at this point, I can choose to heal an ally within Sphere of Influence. He can't heal himself from how I understand it, because it doesn't say you or an ally. It says an ally within Sphere of Influence equal to half the amount of damage. I am wrong. You are an ally to yourself. It's only when it says another ally, then it's not going to be you. So I can heal him for half, and half is always rounded up if it goes to a decimal place. So 5 divided by 2 would be 2.5. So we're going to be able to heal him 3 hit points. We're going to heal him back up to his 20 because I think he's about to get hit for a ton. So we're going to heal him back to max health. Now, if I had max health according to my fever spell and I healed and got a heal from this spell, I would actually be able to give myself a barrier, but you can only have 1 instance of barrier. That spell does cost me 2 stamina points, but it is not a, what do you call it, exhaust effect, so I could use it multiple times in a turn, but I only have 1 stamina point left. Also, if I wanted to, I could flip this card after resolving a spell you cast so long as it's not a per effect encounter or flip condition spell. But the problem is this spell can only do 5 damage, and these cave sickles have 12 health, so it's not going to kill it. I think I'm going to save that ability for a time when it would actually kill something. With Rook done, we're going to move on to the Geovadins. The reason why the Geovadins are next, from how I understand it, is when we read through all the story moments, the first thing it told me to do was place cave sickles. Once the cave sickles were placed, you place the initiative card right after the last person who went. Then it told us to read the part about the Geovadins. So now that the Geovadins have been placed on the board, they would put their card next to Rook's card. So it's going to be in this order. I don't know how we're going to survive this, but we'll see what we can do. We'll start with the Geovadin and see what happens. So the first thing on his card is going to be, is there an opponent adjacent? No. But is there an opponent in reach 2? No. So can it move and attack an opponent within reach 2? Yes, both of these can. So we'll activate the red one first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to right here. And then it will make its attack. Our Geovadin will be attacking with a teal and blue die. I am going to spend my last stamina point to attempt to dodge. I'm going to grab a black die here for him. I've got 3 more defense. That's super cool. Maybe that'll help us out. We're going to roll our dice, see how this thing does. It got an 8, so I didn't need to dodge the attack, but you know, it's always better to be safe than sorry. Once this attack completes, it is then going to move to be up to reach 2 from the farthest opponent within movement range. The farthest opponent within movement range would be Zeke, but it can't make it within its movement range. So then it's actually going to be Padric. Padric is the next one that it would be. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, right past Rook. Do I want to try to counter attack or make an opportunity attack against this thing? I do have the option of that if I want to. As it tries to walk through, I can do a break attack. Now remember, it's going to try to dodge, and it could get all these superpowers to go along with it. I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to let it go right by. I kind of have a plan. It's then going to move down here, so it's gone what? Let's see, it came from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to right here. It is going to have to jump this pit in order to get to that character right there. To see if he's able to jump the pit, we roll 1 die. If it rolls on a skull, the poor creature did not make the jump. But if it gets anything else, it makes the jump without any problem. It has totally made the jump. It is totally fine. So it is going to attack, which is going to be Sadness. He gets to roll a green and blue die. I do have 2 more, I should say blue and teal or something. Multiple colors. It's not blue. It's teal and green. There we go. I do have multiple stamina points remaining. I could use those to dodge. He does have an 11 defense, which isn't too bad, but I think I am going to use one of these to try to dodge. Let's see how this goes. Hopefully he gets some more. He got 1 more defense. Well, you know, every little bit helps. We'll see how it goes here. A 5 and a 4 is a 9. The Geovadin missed. That's the end of that first Geovadin. We'll move on to the second one. The second one is going to do something equally as normal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to right there. It's going to do pretty much the same thing. Though its next attack would be 1, 2, 3 to right here, 4, 5 there, or 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and attack there. After it makes the attack against Rook, it's going to run up here and try to hit Remy next from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to right there and try to hit, because that's the farthest person it can get to within range, because it can't get down over here to where Padric is this time because of the fact that there's a pit here. So first we'll make our attack here against Rook and see how it goes. Of course, sadly, Rook does not have any more ways of dodging. It got a 10. That is enough to hit Rook. Sad, sad, sad. Rook has exactly a 10 defense, but it's only going to do 1 extra, so that's only 1 point of damage, and he didn't do any type of armor piercing or anything, so I am able to absorb all that damage to his armor. He doesn't take any type of damage from this first attack. Like I said, the next attack is going to be against Remy, because 1, 2, 3 to right here, 4, 5 and attack, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and attack. Remember, it's trying to move to the farthest possible person it can and within its movement range and reach to hit. And it will always, and if it can get there and not automatically die, it will do it. So even though it's going over pits, it will still try to get to Remy, even though there's a chance it might not make it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to right there, and it's going to make an attack against Remy if it is successfully jumping the pit. First we'll roll to see if our Giovanni make it across. Oh, it didn't make it across the pit. Look at this poor thing fell in. It go into the pit, which is awesome. And believe it or not, we actually get a combatant loot card even though this poor thing fell in the pit. We've got, oh, what is this? We have found an item loot. So we're going to roll a white die, it says. Let's see what we get here. White die. We'll roll, 2 white dice. Sorry, I got to do a little bit more reading than just one word there and see how this goes. I'm going to grab 2 white dice, roll them up, and see what we're able to get. We got 9. So 8 to 10 is a relic of our loot deck right now. So our loot deck is common, so we're going to be able to get a common relic from him falling in a pit. That was awesome. In a stroke of luck, we have lost 1 Giovanni, and that's amazing. Now, I do have all of our relics right here from our common loot deck. So we're going to give these a truffle shuffle. We're going to draw from the bottom of the deck because you always can see the top of the deck. And even if I turn them over, you can still see the pictures. Now, one other thing I could do is potentially roll a die equal to the amount of these cards. I think there's 19, so technically I could roll a 20-sider if I wanted to. But we're just going to shuffle them up like this, straight up and down, so you can't see any of the cards. And we're just going to pull the bottom card here and see what we have. We have found ourselves a hidden piercing of protection. So once per encounter, I can, at any time until the start of your next turn, gain protection and resist physical damage. That's awesome. Now Remy's the one that watched it fall in the pit. So as it fell in the pit, she's going to swoop off those piercings and put them on herself. Woot woot. At this point, it's now our Elder Cave Sickle's turn, and it says here that they're immune to poison and their movement cost is not increased by moving over allies or terrain. They do have the Hive Mind, which we've seen before, and this Hive Mind is pretty deadly. Then we're going to go through our AI steps here and see if any of these pertain to anything. Is there an opponent adjacent? No. And we're starting with the red one. It says, is there an opponent within range 4? No, there's not. But can it move and attack an opponent within range 4? Move to be up to range 4 from the nearest opponent, then make a range 4 attack. So it's going to move up to range 4. So it's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4 right to there and make an attack. 1, 2, 3, 4, which is exactly where it needs to be. And it's going to shoot out and attack Rook. Let's see how this goes. It would normally roll a white and orange die, but there are 2 other cave sickles within its sphere of influence. So it's going to roll a teal and orange die. I don't have anything I can do about this. No like dodges or anything. It got a 7, so it did miss. Rook, that cave sickle has completed its turn. Moving on to our purple cave sickle, it is going to follow the second line here. It says, is there an opponent within range 4? Make a ranged attack. Then move to be adjacent to the opponent with the most damage within movement range. Then make an attack with a follow-up, inflict poison. Now remember, follow-up actions or things only happen if the actual attack hits. Of course, our good buddy, the Cave Sickle, is within sphere of influence of 2 other ones, so it's rolling an orange and teal die, and I don't have anything I can do about it, so we just hope this guy misses. It got an 11. That, sadly, is going to be a hit. That is going to do 1 over my defense, which is 10, so far it's doing 1 damage. Then we have to go to our symbols here. 1, 2, 3 damage, which isn't going to be enough to get through Rook's armor, so I don't take any damage, but it's still hit. It's then going to, or its next line is a then, so even if I hit or miss, it would still do this. The one that we have to worry about next is the attack that's coming with the inflicting poison. So it's going to go after the person that has taken the most damage. There is nobody within its range that it can get to that has taken any damage. The only person that has is Rook, or not Rook, sorry, is Nightingale, and she is down here way off the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It cannot actually make it to her. So it's going to go after the tiebreaker, and the tiebreaker is the person that's sitting at the top of the queue, which is going to be Rook. So Rook is going to be the one that is going to be the target of this attack. So this thing is going to come down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to right here and attempt to attack him is the deal. Now, of course, it does have to jump this thing here. It doesn't state that its ability to be able to ignore movement and allies when moving doesn't affect these pits. It still has to jump them in order to get to us. So let's see if it's able to make the jump and then see if it can make the attack. Now, of course, if this thing doesn't make the jump, we'll go straight onto this one's attack, which will be the next one we use. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. It has that same AI step where it's going to make the attack and then it's going to move towards the closest person with taken damage. And again, it can't get to Nightingale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The farthest it could get is 1 square away. So instead, it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and attack Rook from right there. Don't think it can get to Remy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It cannot. It can only get to Rook. So these, he's going to about basically take 3 attacks here. We'll start with this one. It has to make a jump, then it'll attack. Then we'll make a ranged attack with this one, and then we'll make our attack with that one. So our purple one is going to make a jump and see if it can make it over to attack. It totally can. So we'll roll up our dice. I don't have anything I can do about this. It's a 7. It has missed. We're going to move on to the red one. I apologize, the yellow one. We're going to attack at range with it. Now remember, the follow-up only happens if it hits, so it doesn't hit, so it doesn't do the poison. It's going to make its ranged attack first, which got an 8. So that does not hit Rook. Rook has a 9 defense. It's then going to run up next to him and attempt to hit him, and it rolled a, boy, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It rolled a 13, so that's, of course, 3 over his damage, and it's going to be doing 3, 4, 5, 6 points of damage, so I am taking 1 point of damage, which is super, super sad. I'm so sad about that because I was hoping I could have done this. I could have countered with this, but sadly I took damage, so I'm not able to counter. And I could have countered the one beforehand, but I didn't want to because I thought maybe I could take out the one cave sickle I've already done damage to with a hit. Oh, that makes me so sad. Oh well, that's okay. I took 1 damage, which isn't the end of the world, so that's going to take Rook down to 19 health. Now I do have to do the follow-up, which is going to be Poison Force 10. So normally that means I would do a conviction check. And your characters all start with purple dice for conviction. But he's got a conviction upgrade of 1 white. So he gets to remove one of the purple dice and put a white die in there. Now, of course, I don't have to roll the dice because I claimed this a while ago. It says passive. Gain immunity to poison. So poison doesn't actually affect me at all. So I don't have to roll these dice. I just wanted to show you what would have happened if I didn't have that. So that's the end of the cave sickles. They are done. Whew, I made it through all the attacks. It's time for our guys to actually do something. Remy's going to unexhaust all of her abilities and gain 3 stamina points, bringing her stamina point total to 4. And let's see what we could do with her. I'm going to try something a little risky. This is probably not the greatest move on the planet, but you know, a little risk reward here. I could fly with Remy. I could use 2 stamina points to allow myself to use my movement and fly, meaning I can ignore all of this terrain and the pits if I want to. But if I do that, that leaves me with only 2 stamina points. And to make an attack, I need 2 stamina points. But I also want to attack with my quick blow as well, which is going to cost me 1 stamina point to be able to make multiple attacks here. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to right here. I'm going to have to jump 2 pits to get to that particular location. And I do have a 6 agility, and I only need to roll a 10 or better. I've used 1 stamina point to move, leaving myself with 3 stamina points to use. First, I have to make my first jump. I got an 8 plus 6 is plenty. Then I have to roll my second jump, which is 7 plus 2 is 9, plus a 6 is plenty. I only need a 10 on both of those jumps. Now, let's make our attack. I'm going to use my super axe of swirling death. I'm going to use this axe on the yellow cave sickle that is adjacent to me. I get to roll 2 teal dice and see how we do here. It's going to cost me 2 in order to use this attack. Let's roll these up, see how it goes. I got a 10. Its defense is a 10, which doesn't mean I'm doing much, but I guess every little bit helps. At this point, I'm able to use this hammer helm, which is going to give me +1 physical damage, and I could re-roll these dice if I want to, but I actually hit it, so it's not the end of the world. I could re-roll them and maybe get something better, especially on that 4. But I've got another attack, so maybe I'll save it for that. I've got, let's see here. So I'm going to do a 10, which is enough to hit. So instead, I'm going to do 1, 2 damage to this thing. Really, only 2? Oh, that's not very much. Well, it's at 7 damage. You know, you got to take what you can get. I've got 7 damage on him, so we're going to attack again. I'm going to flip that over to a 1. We've done 7 to this yellow one. Let's keep on hitting it. Maybe we can take it all out in one. And the less monsters on the board, the better. I am going to use my 1 more remaining stamina point to use Quick Blow. Quick Blow does state that when you've during the follow-up step of your attack, other than the attack you made with Quick Blow, make another attack. You may choose a new target of the attack if I wish to. I don't wish to. I plan to keep the same target here. We're going to roll up our dice and see how we do this time. I got a 12. A 12 is 2, 3, 4, 5, and I can make this a 6, 7 damage. 7 plus 7 is 14. That is enough to kill him, so I'm not going to use the ability on here. I'm just going to let that go. I do have a passive here that I can follow up, spend 1 stamina point to deal a black damage, and all my shields equal damage, but I don't have extra to do that, and I don't need to. We were able to take out that yellow one. The yellow one is dead from all the damage we did. The thing is, though, this is a swarm monster, so I do not get a loot card until we have taken out the entire swarm of all 3 of these. We'll remove these health points and call it a day. That wasn't too bad. Remy took out 1 guy. Our Waterloa will be the next one to go in initiative order. Looking at the Waterloa's a card here, the only one it's going to do is there an opponent with, no, can it move and attack an opponent within range 6? That's the only thing on this card that is able to do. When making an attack against somebody who's arcane, just to tell you what these passives are all about, you remove the shield book and star symbols when rolled against the character. They don't exist when making an attack against this creature. And elusive allows the creature to, when it voluntarily moves away from the figure, it does not provoke break attacks. Attacking Remy from where she is, this is only going to roll 2 purple dice. I have an ability that allows me to dodge, but I'm not going to. I'm going to save it because I never know in the initiative order when Remy's going to come back around to unexhaust her cards, and I'd hate for her to not have her dodge if she needs it for something else. This got an 8, which isn't even enough to hit her. She's got a 10 defense, so Waterloa totally missed. It does say, though, an opponent that with an attack, whenever an opponent is hit with a spell or an attack, I'm going to place a water token in the space. Since it didn't hit, I don't put it down. With our Waterloa complete, we'll move on to Zeke. We're going to unexhaust all of Zeke's cards that he used last turn, and he's going to gain 3 stamina points at the beginning of his turn here. And we have to decide what we want to do. Now, our bow shoots 6 spaces. Remember that. So there is a good range with this thing. My mobile artillery platform is going to move first. I am going to use 1 stamina point to move myself 6 spaces. I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, 4 to right there. That's where I'm going to start with. Then I'm going to try to attack. I do have an ability that I can use called Down the Masses. Make up to 2 ranged attacks against different targets, and I can use this with 2 stamina points. So I am going to spend the 2 stamina points to attempt to shoot this one and that one with my bow. But of course, the first thing I have to do is make my jump across that pit. Let's roll our 2 dice, see how we do. We got a 9, plus he has an agility of 4, so that's way more than 10. He was able to make the jump. At this point, he will fire off his bow. It's a white and an orange. I could choose to empower at this time. I'm not going to empower at this time. I think I have a bigger plan. I hope it works. We're going to first fire at the red one. Now, I'm not able to take advantage of the +1 to attack because I moved. But it does say down here, attacks made against an opponent that dealt damage to an ally since the end of your last turn can gain 2 physical damage. So let's see, did anything hit anybody? I don't think anything hit anybody. Well, Rook got hit. Rook got hit by the 1. I don't know which one that hit him. I think it was, it was the yellow one. So the yellow one did hit Rook, so none of the characters out there actually hit anybody. These monsters did so bad. So I don't get that bonus either. I'm going to roll my white and orange and see how it goes. Hopefully get something. We'll fire at the red one first. The red one is, I am firing through green terrain. So I am going to have to subtract 1 from the die roll. I got a 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, or 11. Sorry, -1 is 10, which is just enough to hit the cave sickle. So I did hit the cave sickle, meaning now I'm going to go to my little things here. I'm only going to gain the 1 because the 2 is not enough. I need 5 in order to make this happen. So in that case, wow, I only did 1 damage to this thing. That's amazing. Okay, well, 1 damage is better than nothing. I did 1 damage to the red one. We'll put that damage right up here. Now I'm going to make my second attack against the yellow one. Again, I am not empowering this attack. Let's see. Well, I got a 5. That's absolutely bonkers bad. And I'm not going to do anything about that. Again, because I have a plan. I've got a good plan. We'll see how it goes. Here is my plan. At this point, I am going to use my precise strike to exhaust it to make my attack against this water loa. And of course, my plan is not the greatest. I should have actually made this shot first, then made the attack against those two, because I'm planning to bank everything on this shot. And so if I do spectacularly well, I could have used some of my abilities and rerolls against these guys, but that's okay. We're going to try to take that water loa out. It is going through a green space, so I am going to have to add 1 or subtract 1 from my attack. Our water loa has 9 defense. I am going to use my last remaining stamina point to empower my attack, meaning I can do more damage, hopefully, with this thing. Now, of course, remember, if you roll a skull when you empower your attack, you fail no matter what the die roll is. We're going to roll up our dice, see how this goes. I need to get a pretty big number to take this person out. This is going to be a bonkers attack. Like I said, I should have waited to use some of the stuff on my other character. I have an ability called Down the Messenger, or sorry, Kill the Messenger is what it is. It's Kill the Messenger. This is amazing. I can exhaust this card. If you have a two-handed weapon equipped and making an attack, if you roll the lowest result on a combat die, I may change the single die to the highest result instead, and you bet I did. This 2 is the lowest on this die, so instead I am going to turn it to the 7. We now have a 15 against this thing. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I got a 15. It only has a 9 defense. 9 minus 15 is 6, so we did 6 damage already. This is going to fire off its 5 irreducible damage, bringing it to 11 damage right now. And then if we add up all the damage on this, it's another 5. So we did 5, 10, 11, 12 points of damage to this thing just from my dice, my star abilities, and my cards and all that. Then on top of that, we have the extra damage from going over the defense. This thing is absolutely bonkers dead. I shot it right through the head. It isn't called a precise shot for a strike for nothing. Wow, we totally took this person off the board that 1 hit. Zeke is so good. That bow and these cards together make him super, super fun. I do get a combatant loot card for taking out the water loa. Let's see what we have. We got ourselves 7 more gold. We'll stick that with all of our treasure, and we'll move on to the next person. It is now Nightingale's turn, and again, we'll start by unexhausting all of the cards that she used last turn, and we're going to see what we can do, most likely doing a lot of magic damage to that Geovaden. I did forget to give the 3 stamina points to Nightingale, so she has 4 stamina points to be able to use this turn. The status does come before we actually start making our actions, so I am going to heal 1 because of our sentient bodysuit. And we're going to start by gore-shotting this thing right here. I'm going to exhaust my gore shot in order to make the spell work. Now, of course, I have to roll my die, and I have an upgraded casting die of teal, so we'll see how that goes. I got a 7. That's really good, which is, I think at this point, I am going to use my staff. I was wondering when I should, and I'm going to do it on that one because that's a really good one. So I'm going to spend my 1 stamina point and exhaust the staff in order to be able to attack with this, do more damage. But of course, we have to use his conviction first. Let's see how that does. His conviction was an 8. That's not going to be enough. Sorry, Mr. Geovaden. You are about to take 6 points of damage because I am going to take the 2 irreducible damage, bringing me down to 15 for him to take 6 points of damage. Oh my gosh, these spells are awesome. We're going to put those right here. He has taken 6 points of damage. Now, on top of that, I get to roll a teal die and see how much extra damage I do with my magic staff here. Oh my gosh, I got another 8. This is so good. Oh, I wish I could roll like this all the time. I got another 8. So we're going to put another 5, 6, 7, 8 on this thing. So this thing has taken a total of 14 points of damage. It only has 4 left. Oh, I think we can try to get this thing. I'm going to cast my other spell. I've got Life Grasp. Why not? Let's roll this thing up and see what happens to it. I'm going to spend my 1 stamina point on Life Grasp here and see if we can take this thing out. Hopefully we can. I'm going to roll my spells. I need to roll a teal die. and it can do up to 3 damage. Now, of course, this is going to be equal to the difference, so I need to get a really high number, and he has to get a really, really low number, and that would be absolutely awesome. Let's see how we do here. I got a 5 plus 6 is 11. Oh, that might not be enough. He gets to roll his conviction up. Let's see how he does. He got a 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 4. This thing's super dead, I think. I did a total of 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then on top of that, we've got the extra 4 here. 4, I think, is what it is here. There's always math in this game, and I always it kind of starts screwing with me. I can't get it always right. 11 minus 7 is going to be 4. So 4 plus here's 10, so that's 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That is just enough to take this guy out. Wow, I can't believe I got that. Just enough. We took out the Geovadin. The Geovadin is going to give us another combatant loot card. I'm going to get 7 more gold. That's awesome. We're going to put that in here. Oh, I'm getting closer and closer to that super whirling blade of death for, what's her name, Remy. That's going to be amazing. Okay, that was super good. I don't have to do, I could have paid an extra 6 irreducible damage to do more damage, but I didn't decide to do that because I figured that would hopefully be enough. And if it wasn't, I still had a backup plan. I had Root the Mind, which I could then paralyze this character and it wouldn't be able to do anything. That would be the other thing I could have done if it didn't die. So I had multiple ways of hopefully dealing with this. This is, to me, the hardest creature out there for my characters to deal with. The only one that can really do it is Nightingale, so it's good that we were able to take this guy down. All the Geovadins are dead, so we'll remove their card from the initiative track. And Nightingale, still has 2 more stamina points. She's going to use one of them in order to move. She can move a total of 6 spaces. And I was thinking about having Remy come down here, but since a lot of her stuff is Sphere of Influence, she could still Sphere of Influence out of this in total entanglement here. And this entanglement is all hindering terrain, or I should say difficult terrain. So she's going to move with her 6 speed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I can't get to here because I don't have the extra one. Now I could pay 1 more stamina point to give myself an extra couple movement, but I'm going to save the stamina points. Again, I got a plan. Nightingale's done. We'll move on to Padric. Padric will gain 3 stamina points and remove his exhaust power there. And I think he's going to use his first one to move. He's going to move up next to this cave sickle. 1, 2, 3. Again, having to jump that pit. He only has 2 agility, so I'm a little worried about this, but I don't really have much more I can... Oh, I guess I could run around it. Why not? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's going to go that way. It'll take him a little while, but it'll go that way. Then I'm going to spend another stamina point to continue moving. Another 2, 7, 8. And then I could spend 1 more stamina point to move again if I want to, but I think I'm going to save them because once he gets there, he would not be able to attack from where he is. I could throw a knife if I wanted to use my energy, but I think we're doing okay. We also killed the Waterlow and forgot to remove that card as well. And now we're going to take back all of our initiative cards and shuffle them up. Give them a truffle shuffle, see who's going to be going first, who's going to be going second. Hopefully we can maybe take out some of these cave sickles before they can attempt to attack us. So we'll give them a truffle shuffle like that. And we will draw some cards. We have Zeke first, followed by the cave sickles. There they go. Then we have Padric, followed by Nightingale, Remy, and lastly, we have Rook. Now, it does say that Padric will go to the bottom of the initiative order, just like that. And that will be everything. Come on, Zeke, let's see what you can do. Zeke will gain his 3 stamina points, and he's also going to unexhaust all of his powers that he used last turn. And from where he sits, my artillery piece here, I think he's going to start with that precise strike again. He's going to use this first, and he's going to target, I think he's going to target the red one. Hopefully we can take that one out first. And then we'll, oh no, I think I'm going to take out the purple one. I'm going to take out this purple one because it can do so much more attacks if it's adjacent to a person than if it's not adjacent. So we're going to use our precise strike against that purple cave sickle. My precise strike will become exhausted in order to use it, and I am going to pay 1 in order to power up my shot. I am going to give my shot an extra set of, I'm going to empower it, or should I not empower this? Maybe if I don't empower this, it might do the extra 5 damage. Well, it needs a 10. I need to get a 14 in order to do it, which might not be enough. And these things do have 12 health, so let's really make sure we kill this guy. I think that's our best bet. I am going to empower this attack, which is totally fine. And we're going to make our shot. Let's see how this goes. If there's anything else I'm supposed to do beforehand, because there's so many cards and abilities out here, I got to make sure I do them all. I think we are good. Now, I am going to get the +1 to attack because I'm not going to move with Zeke this turn. So let's see how this all goes. This should hopefully kill this guy if we can. Oh, there, that's going to be fantastic. 14, plus look at all these shields. Oh my gosh, it's going to be super good. So I got 14 minus his 10, so that's 4 over. And I believe that's going to fire this off. So if I have 4 higher, then let's just read the precise strike to make sure we got exactly what we need here. Our precise strike does say that if you're able to, if your attack is at least 4 higher than the target's defense, excluding any other things, I'm going to be able to do 5 irreducible damage. So I'm going to do 5, 10, 11, 11 points of damage plus the extra 5 here. So what's that? 5, 10, 11 plus 4 is 4. Yeah, this guy's super dead again. Super dead cave sickle. This guy's so good with this bow, it's out of control. I'm going to shoot again with him. I'm going to roll again at the other cave sickle, the red one, but this time I'm just going to fire it as a normal shot. I don't really have anything else to do. I can't empower this, so we're just going to roll this up and see how it goes. This is a regular attack going against the red cave sickle that is firing through hindering or difficult terrain, so I am going to have to subtract 1, but I do get the +1 from because of the passive ability here. Let's see how this goes. I got a 6 and a 3. I don't think a 3 is the lowest. No, a 2 is. So I only got a 9. That is not enough to hit this guy. I could choose to re-roll the dice. I think I am going to. I do have my quiver, which gives me the ability to exhaust when you make an attack to re-roll any single die. I'm going to re-roll the orange one. Hopefully it gets a little bit better than that. I got a 6. That's 12. That's enough to hit. I did 2 damage. I know it's not better. It's better than nothing. It's better than a sharp stick in the eye here, which is pretty much what this guy just got since it's an arrow. He's got a sharp stick in the eye. I did 2 damage. None of these are going to fire off. So I only did 2. That's totally fine. He is up to 3 damage, the red one. And that's the end of Zeke's turn. The cave sickles will be going next. Looking at our Cave Sickles card, it is going to fire off the second one here. Is there an opponent within range 4? Make an attack at range 4. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 different people, or 3 people within range 4. So the tiebreaker on that is going to be the person at the front of the pack. That's going to be Zeke. Zeke is going to be the one that's attacked. Once that attack is over, it is then going to move to be adjacent to the opponent with the most damage within movement range. The person with the most damage is going to be Zeke and Nightingale. Or sorry, not Zeke. It's Rook and Nightingale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It cannot get to Rook that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It cannot get to Rook that way. So these are the only 2 within movement range it can get to. And again, since neither of them are damaged, its tiebreaker is going to be the person at the front of the line. So basically this thing is going to shoot Zeke and then move 1, 2, 3 to be adjacent to Zeke and attack Zeke. This poor Cave Sickle is the only one left on the board, so he is only going to be rolling an orange and a white. And I am going to exhaust my Occult T-shirt to give myself the ability to dodge. And it does say that if you successfully dodge the attack, I can choose to counter. So we're going to roll our die and try to dodge this. This should be a 3. We'll see how we do here. We got 3 more defense. That's fantastic. Now he's going to roll his attack and see if he hits. He got a 10, and I have a 10 plus 3 is 13 defense, meaning he did not hit, so I was successfully able to dodge. I can then choose to counterattack, and this is a ranged attack, but I do have a ranged weapon, so I am able to counterattack with a ranged weapon. So I'm going to choose to counterattack with this. Let's see how it goes. I got a ton. I got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'll take it. 13 over that is 3 more damage, plus 1 is 4. So this Cave Sickle again has taken 3 from the difference of the dice, and then he takes the plus 1 physical damage from this. So I'll give the extra 1. So he is up to 6 damage. That's awesome. He is then going to run in and attack Zeke. Now, I don't have any other ways of dodging. That's the only one I have on my guy, but that's okay. He did pretty good with that one. I'll roll up his dice and see how he does against Zeke. He did get an 11. Zeke only has a 10 defense, so he did get hit. He's going to take 1 from the difference in the dice, and then he's going to take 2, 3, 4 from these symbols on the dice. So he has taken a total of 4 damage. Zeke has no armor, so he's going to take that 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, down to 11. He starts with 15. Now that we've taken the damage, we do have to do the follow-up inflict poison force 10. So he is going to make a conviction check to try to block this poison. The only 2 dice he gets is a white and a purple. He would normally get 2 purple, but he does have an upgrade of white. We'll see how this goes. He got an 8. That is not enough. But I do have my deflection core here, meaning I can flip this when making a conviction check to pass a conviction check. So I'm just going to flip that to pass my conviction check. I can only do that once and only once, then it stays flipped. That's the deal. But, you know, I don't want to be poisoned. The cave sickles are now done. We'll move on to Nightingale. Nightingale will gain back 3 stamina points, putting her stamina total up to 4, and will unexhaust all of the things she used last turn. Nightingale is going to use her first stamina point to move. She's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right there. The next thing Nightingale is going to do is spend another stamina point, and she's going to do an encounter action. Adjacent to her, she's going to grab this loot token, and she has found a yellow loot. So we'll check what that is in the book. You open the lid of the box, revealing a pile of gold. Unfortunately, you fumble, losing grip of the lid and causing it to slam back down with a thud. Your agitation is replaced with fear as the ground gives way, sending the box and all its contents plummeting into the darkness below. Place a dangerous terrain token on the space of this loot. Well, that's probably the worst treasure I've ever got. I do have more stamina points. I'm going to grab another stamina point, and I am going to use it to look at this token right here. We're going to do another encounter action. I should have actually done this before we looked for the treasure chest, so let me just see how much this is going to change how we did things here. It does say when adventure is adjacent to the token, read the following hidden text. You peek your head through the thick briar and see the strangest thing. A small, serene pond seems to have a small box bobbing in the center. Weird. Discard this token, then place tiles and tokens according to diagram 8. According to diagram 8, we're placing down this tile with a red marker, and that red marker, according to the book, states when an adventurer moves adjacent to the token, read the following hidden text. I am going to remove this one, and that really didn't play too much of an issue of whether or not we were going to gain this treasure or not, because the same outcome would have happened. At this point, I would have used my action to check out the treasure chest. I do have 1 stamina point left, but I've already done my move action, and I cannot continue moving because I decided to do some other things. So we're going to stop with Nightingale at this point and move on to Remy. Remy's going to gain back her 3 stamina points, and she's going to unexhaust all of the things she used last turn. At this point, I am going to use probably all of my stamina to move. I could go over here and take on the cave sickle, but as you can see the way I have my camera, that's not going to be my plan. My plan is I want to check out this token as well as this token down here in the water. That is my plan. And she's the best person when it comes to going through all of this. I kind of didn't expect to have another tile up here. And most of that tile is going to be hindering, it's going to be difficult terrain to move through. But she can fly, remember, as long as she has over half of her health. I'm going to use one of my stamina points to move 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to here. Now I could have paid 2 to fly, but there's no need to fly yet. I'm going to use another 2, 1, 2 to move there, and then my last one I'm going to use 1 to move here, and then now I am able to see that particular token because it's going to cross right here. My line of sight is going to cross right on that path, giving me a direct line to that token from center to center. All right, let's check out what this is. Hopefully it's not a whole bunch more dudes coming out here, because I also want to check out what this is down here, and hopefully we can see all the different things that are here. Now remember, our goal is to get to the exit that's up here, but you know what? It's super fun to check out what everything is. So let's see what that totem says. The green totem states, this hollowed out tree contains a natural pathway that leads down into the cavern below. Place the red exit token on the space this totem occupied. Then add the following alternate win condition in the section below. Our alternate win condition is an adventurer ends their turn on the red exit. Remy is done. We'll move on to Rook. But before we do, I did have one more movement point with Remy, so I'm going to move her right there. Actually, no, I think I'm going to keep her right there. I have a plan. She's going to stay there. It's going to be Rook's turn. And from where Rook is, he's just going to cast his fever spell 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces away, so that is in his sphere of influence. Let's see if we can take this guy out. I get to use my orange casting die, and I got a 2. That's absolutely terrible. I wonder if there's something he can do about that. Not really. So that's going to be a total of 8. Let's see how he does. He only got 6. So our spell actually went off. It's going to do 5 points of damage because he does have that 5 armor. And that's enough to take this person out because this person has 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Only has 12 health. That's all magic damage. So even if he had armor, it would go straight through that. Our cave sickle is off the board, meaning our entire swarm is defeated and we get another combatant loot card. We have gained another 7 gold. Also, I can heal an ally, 1, 2, 3, equal to half of the damage I did. So we're going to do that to Zeke since he is in my sphere of influence. And I'm also going to cast my Mage Armor spell, giving Barrier to Zeke. And that doesn't cost me any stamina points because it's another ally. Rook has 1 stamina point left, and at this point I can either go for this exit or the blue exit. I think uncovering this red one is probably going to be the better exit. Of course, I do not know. It could probably be a big trick and the blue one's the best. So he's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right down to here. His plan is probably going to be to go for this exit. I'm going to send the 2 girls, Remy and Nightingale, over towards this token, and maybe we can see what they get from that. But at least if we can get Nightingale on that tile, everything will be in sphere of influence of any of her attacks, which will be pretty helpful. Padric is the last one to go. He's got 5 stamina points. I really don't ever know what to do with this guy. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to right here. I think that's going to be his plan. He's going to spend 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 3 stamina points just to move. That's going to be the end of our turn. I will remove our Cave Sickle card from the board. Now at this point, if an enemy does not activate before we get to the end of our row of cards here, we're going to be starting to gain urgency tokens. This particular last round, our Cave Sickle did actually make some attacks, so we don't get the urgency token this turn. We're going to start with Zeke. I really want the girls to go. Oh, you got to be kidding me. They're going to go last. All right, Zeke is going to go first, followed by Rook, Nightingale, and Remy. Let's take on Zeke, see what he can do. Zeke is going to gain 3 stamina points and use at least one of them to move. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to right here. That puts him right in the middle of the board where he can pretty much have a shot at almost anything. That does leave him with 2 stamina points that he can bring over to the next round. We'll move on to Rook. He'll also gain his 3 stamina points and use 1 to move. And I'm just going to move 1, 2, 3, I think right there, and then next turn he can go 1, 2, 3, 4 if we need to. That's totally fine. He'll keep his last 2 stamina points in case he needs to do anything. And let's see if he can get Nightingale in his sphere of influence. I don't think he can. So we're going to cast our Barrier spell onto our friend here, Padric. So Padric also has 1 armor from Barrier. And we'll move on to our next person, which is going to be Nightingale. Nightingale is probably just going to set herself up as well in case something happens when I look at that token, because I am all set to just run out of here if I need to. Nightingale is going to gain 3 stamina points, bringing her stamina point total to 4. And at this point, she's going to use 2 of them to move. She's going to move a total of, was it 6? No, she's only going to use 1. She used 1 to move 6 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, putting her right there so that everything on this tile is in sphere of influence. Now, I don't know idea if that's where things are going to happen when this happens. I could put another tile here. We'll see how it all transpires. Sadly, the person I really wanted to go first is actually going last, and that's going to be Remy. Remy's going to gain 3 stamina points, and she's going to use 2 of them, I think, to fly 6 spaces. She'll move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to right here. Now remember, when you're in water, you cannot dodge. And now that I'm adjacent to that token, I'm going to check out what this is. If I decided not to fly, I would have had to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 spaces just to get there. So that's the cool thing about Remy. She has those wings that are so good. I also like to call her my get out of jail free card, so that everything starts to go absolutely bonkers bad. I can always, if she stays at least over half health, fly her all the way to the exit and call it a day. You wade out to the deeper part of the pond and grab at the floating box. Inside, you find a waterlogged instructions for the device inside. The documents are unreadable. Luckily, the object and how to use it are pretty obvious to you. Discard this token and gain the Magic Frag Rare Consumable. And that is this right here. I'm going to guess this is some kind of grenade. Discard. Choose a space within range 4. Deal a blue of magic damage to the figure on the chosen space and figures on all adjacent spaces. Roll separately for each figure affected by the item. Holy Hand Grenade was under copyright. That's awesome. That's amazing. So this is the Magic Frag is what I got. And I'm going to give that to Remy. Remy does have enough to hold on to it. You can hold up to 3 consumables, and she only has 1 at this present time, so now she has 2. We're going to continue reading and see what happens. Oh, great, Padric says as you hold up your find. That may come in handy if we have to clear a way into the cavern where I dropped my gun. As you turn to the shore, you notice ripples in the water on either side of you. Your eyes widen, realizing that creatures lurk beneath the surface of the water. Place figures according to diagram 9. Merc hounds spawned from this diagram do not drop monster loot. If the monster loot is drawn, redraw. If all Geovadins are defeated, read the hidden text for a special encounter rule. Dozens of Geovadin. Really? More of these dogs? Okay, oh boy, I think we're just getting out of here. There's way too much stuff. According to our diagram, we now have 2 merc hounds, and look at this, another water loa to deal with. So I have my Waterloo out, and we have our merc hounds that are all painted up here nice and ready to go. Now sadly I haven't gotten them all based yet. Here's the other one I'm going to put down there. I don't have any basing on it yet, but we'll work on that during maybe one of our live painting videos, maybe in this Wednesday. If you're interested to see how some of these miniatures do get painted while we get them onto the table, I do live painting episodes. Try to do them at least once a week on every Wednesday. So feel free to join me in the chat, and we'll chit chat while we paint up the miniatures for the games that we play. With everything spawned and out on the board, here we are. We have our Geovadins, our merc hounds, and our water loa. Remy does have 1 more stamina point, but there really isn't anything she can do with it, because to attack she needs to have 2 stamina points. I do have a fight drive I could use. Maybe I will. Maybe using the fight drive might be a really good idea right now. I am going to use my fight drive. I can do this once per encounter to make an attack, so we're going to put the use token on that and make an attack with our top heavy axe here against the merc hound. Now the merc hound is 1 square away from me, so I'm not adjacent to it, but that's okay. I do have my chains of command. I can exhaust this card to give myself reach 2. And I also get this follow-up ability that I can move this thing around if I want to. I usually don't use that, but I do use the reach quite a bit. I get to roll 2 teal dice and see if we're able to do some damage to this thing. I do have 1 stamina point left, which means I could empower this attack. And why not try to do as much damage as I can to this vile merc hound here. It's 2 squares away. I need a big number in order to hit this thing really good. I do have my hammer helm card that I can also use, or I could use my quick blow. No, I can't use my quick blow because I can only use that once, and that's the deal. So let's see what we can do here. Let's roll these up. Oh my gosh, 2 7s, that's a 14. Now that is only 1 over. Look at this, he got 13 defense, that's ridiculous. But I've got a ton of symbols, which is going to help quite a bit. So we've done a total of 1 over the damage, so that's 1 point of damage. Then if we look at our symbols, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I get 9 from this card right here, 9 damage, and I can exhaust this to give myself, all of my books are going to do an additional point of damage. So we're going to be doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 points of damage, 12 points of damage to this thing, which is really good. And that's going to be our blue one. That should be the number 1 is in that particular place according to our diagram. So it's taking 12 points of damage. That is really good. Now I could do more damage if I wanted to, which might not be a bad idea. Except the problem is I would have to spend a stamina point that I don't have to be able to do this extra stuff. That would have been really good. But that's okay. We did pretty good here. I didn't get any of the stars to be able to use the follow-up here, but that's okay. I think 12 damage is 12 damage. All right, Remy, our Mack truck, which it's like a Mack truck, is going to be done. We'll move on to our Geovadin. Now, when I put Zeke there, I thought he might be in a good place to have to deal with things that are coming on the board down here. I did not expect a bunch of Geovadins to appear over there. Silly me, I don't know why I didn't think that. We're going to start with this one first. The step they're going to do is can they move and attack an opponent within reach 2? That is the deal. So the red one's going to go first. It's going to move 1, 2, 3 to right there. It is now within reach 2 of Zeke. It'll make its attack. Once it finishes its attack, it will then move to be up to reach 2 from the farthest opponent within movement range, which will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to right here, and attack Padric. So that is what our first Geovadin is going to do. Zeke does have the ability to exhaust this occult shirt to dodge, so he's going to do that. He got himself absolutely nothing. That's not going to help. Let's see how our Geovadin does. It got a 9. A 9 is not enough to hit Zeke. Zeke has a 10 defense. And sadly, the funny thing is, I successfully dodged. I didn't get hit. So I can actually do a counterattack against this person, and I am going to do that. I am going to counterattack, and on top of that, I am going to use this I'm going to exhaust this to make sure that whatever I'm shooting at cannot do a dodge attack, or it can't use dodge. So at this point, I'm going to make my attack with my Bearer of Justice here. That is going to do a orange and a white, and I am going to empower this attack by spending one of my stamina points. So roll all 3 of these dice and see how it goes. I got a 12, which is enough to hit the Geovadin. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's fantastic. So I'm going to do 6 points of damage. 6, I think, is all I'm going to be able to do, though. I got 6 damage. I'll take it. 6 is 6. We'll do 6 points of damage to that red Geovadin. That is super good for that just being able to dodge an attack. I love it. Now, of course, that's the end of what Zeke is able to do. The Geovadin was not done. No, it is going to be moving and attacking poor old Padric at this time. So remove all this stuff from our dice tray here, and we'll make an attack against Padric. Interestingly, I could have also made a break attack as it was moving past me, but that dodge is just so brutal. I don't want to have to deal with that. I'm hoping that the rest of my team can maybe take out the Geovadin, or if, like I said, I might just run out of here and call it a day. We'll see how this goes. It does get to roll a teal and a green dice against Padric. Padric's fine. He's got a 11 defense, which is pretty darn good. Let's see how he does against us. Or I could use one of my things to dodge with him. He does have 2 stamina points, but if I save the stamina points, maybe he can make some attacks this turn. He's just going to take it. Let's see how this goes. He got a 10, which is not enough to hit Padric. Padric has an 11 defense. That's the end of our red Geovadin. Let's move to our purple. Now, sadly, our purple Geovadin is going to make Zeke lunch. That's what it's going to do. First, it's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4 to right there and make an attack. Then it's going to move up to its speed value to target the farthest person within its speed area. Well, it can't get to anyone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to right here is about the best it can do, and there's nobody within reach too. So at that point, it's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to here and attack Zeke again. So Zeke's getting hit twice. Zeke is going to be attacked twice. I don't have anything I can do. There's nowhere way to dodge or anything. It's no good. Now, I did, of course, forget his special power of his character, which allows me to re-roll a dodge roll. So I should have re-rolled that dodge roll, and, well, it didn't matter anyway. Actually, I think I still would have gotten 1 because of my occult t-shirt. I forgot about the bottom of that, too. The passive power on that is when making a dodge, if you don't roll any of the skulls, I would have gotten 1 defense. So I would have had actually 1 defense because I rolled all books. And we'll now roll for our Geovadin. If I can get this out of here, I can barely grab onto these cards. Let's roll the dice. Hopefully it doesn't get too banged up. You got a total of 13 against Zeke. Zeke does have a 10 defense, so he is going to take 3, 4, 5 damage. All right, he's taken 5. Let's see how much the second one is for. He got an 11, which is going to be 1 over, so he's taken 5, 6, 7 damage total. That's not too bad. It could have been a lot worse. Taking 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's at like 7 health. Wow, we really need to get him some better defense. Oh, I forgot. He does have barrier. So I'm going to take 2 of those back. We're at 9 damage. At this phase, the Geovadins are done. We'll move over to the Merkhounds. This is probably really bad. Let's quick take a look at this brutal dog here. It says Merkhound. He is aquatic, so he's going to get +2 whenever he starts his turn in water or muck, and he's going to try to never voluntarily leave it. That's the deal. He has an ability called Sticky, and that's when an opponent is adjacent to him and tries to move away, I have to do a strength 10 check to see if I can actually get away from him. He is Merc bound. When the Merkhound attacks, it gains +2 physical damage for each Merkhound within sphere of influence. That's terrible. All terrible. It is submerged. While the Merkhound is in water or muck, only adventurers who are adjacent to the Merkhound may draw line of sight or sphere of influence. So I've already cheated. I did not realize that was a part, so I wasn't able to hit the Merkhound with Remy. Remy's going to take back all of that and give herself back her 1 stamina point and be able to use her fight drive again. That I did not realize. I didn't get a chance to look fully at the card before we attacked him. I just went right to town. Mental note, look at your cards before you go and attack something. Now if we check out their AI steps, the first one, is there an opponent within range 8? Yes, there is. Make an attack against the opponent with the most armor. This attack has +4 armor piercing, and then we're going to continue down. Once that is completed, we'll move and attack multiple opponents. That is probably not going to fire off, but can it move and attack an opponent? Yes, it can. So it's going to move to be adjacent to the opponent with the most damage within movement range and then attack. Now, notice this one says continue down, so even though it's attacking, it will still work on one of these two other options. Let's quick take a look at the board and see what each of these Merchounds are going to do. All right, we have multiple Merchounds. The first thing they're going to try to do is an opponent within range 8 make a ranged attack against the opponent with the most armor. That is going to be our friend Rook, which is sitting right up here. And he is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares from this one and 2 squares from that one. So both of these Merchounds are going to be able to fire at him. It is a direct diagonal, so it's going to go right into his square. He is going to get attacked by both of those. At this point, the next one is, can it move and attack multiple opponents? Well, there are multiple opponents up here, so it could move 1, 2 to right here, but these will never voluntarily leave water. So that is not going to happen. So the next thing it's going to do is, can it move and attack an opponent? That certainly can, with a speed of 6. This one is actually going to move 1, 2, 3 to right here to attack Nightingale, since she is the opponent with the most with the most damage. She will at that point have the most damage, because nothing is actually going to be attacking Remy, who has taken no damage, and Nightingale has taken a few points of damage. At this point, this one would then attack and would move 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that, and attack Nightingale as well. Now this one will be leaving my area here, giving me the opportunity to do a break attack if I wish to, and I probably will. So first, let's take 2 shots at Rook, then I'm going to make a break attack with Remy, and then we'll make 2 attacks against Nightingale. Rook does have 1 more or 2 stamina, and he's going to use both of those to dodge both of these attacks coming in. The first one, of course, is just going to be, I'm just going to use the 1 first, because you have to activate each one individually. So he's going to try to dodge the red one coming in, and it's a ranged attack. He's going to gain himself 1 more defense. That wasn't that great. Now the Merchound is shooting this through difficult terrain, so I'm going to get -1 to the roll, and we'll see what we get total here. Oh my gosh, he got a 17. -1 is 16. Now this has armor piercing 4, so right now my armor value is only 1 when attacking. This is going to be bonkers bad. So I'm taking 7 damage already from this, because Rook only has 10 defense. So I'm taking 7, and then if we look at the card here, 7, we have 8, 9, 10 damage, and then it's going to do a follow-up inflict paralyze force 12. Oh no, that's bad. So I've taken 7, 8, 9, 10, and then we're going to also subtract 1 from my armor, so 10. I am going to take only 9. I'm taking only 9. So that puts Rook at 10 health right now. Oh my gosh. Oh, I forgot about my +1 defense here. So I do get 1 more. Oh boy, I get 1 more. I'm not at 10. I am at 11 health. Wow, that's so good. With that completed, I am going to do a follow-up paralyze against him, which is going to be absolutely terrible here. All right, and the at force 12, I have a conviction of 1 purple and 1 white die. I can't even get a 12, I don't think. I'm paralyzed. Oh my gosh, I got paralyzed. That's bad news. So at this point, Rook is not going to be able to do much of anything. So it says here, paralyzed, you may not take actions or use, may not do actions or abilities. And I do get to discard this at the beginning of my next turn. And then once you're paralyzed, after that, I'm going to gain an immune to paralyzation. You can't be paralyzed more than once during an encounter. So Rook is paralyzed. That's bad news. That's the end of that attack. Now that one would move and now attack Nightingale with this attack right here. Rook has taken the most damage at this point, but they would not willingly leave water. So well, that's the dice they're going to roll, and I'm not going to just roll the dice here. I've got some abilities at least to be able to dodge or something. I'm going to dodge. I've got this right here. I'm going to exhaust this to dodge, and hopefully that will be enough. We'll roll this up and see how we do here. It got an 11. Oh, I forgot to roll my dodge die. I get to roll this dodge die in. I got all books. That didn't help at all. So I got an 11, so that is enough to hit her. She only has 10 defense, so she's going to take a total of 2 points of damage only from this, which is really good. Only going to take 2. She does have 1 armor, so she's only going to take 1 damage, bringing her life total down to 14. That turn is complete for the red Merchound. Now we're going to go into the purple Merchound. That one is also going to take a shot at Rook because he's got the most armor. We're going to roll up our attack dice. He doesn't have any way to help him, but the only good news is I do have 2 sources of hindering area here. I only have one source of hindering, so no matter how much you go through in hindering, it only affects you one time, and he's not going to be shooting through an ally, which he could have, and if he does, that's another penalty. But he only has 1 penalty, it's a -1. Let's see how he does. Another 9, that 9's out of control. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He got a 13, that's 3 over his defense. 13, 14, 15, -1 is 4. He's going to take 4 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's at 7 health. Wow, in just 1 turn he went to 7 health. That's out of control. All right, it's done with that. Now the Merchound would move and attack the person that's the most damaged. That is going to be Nightingale. Nightingale is going to try to dodge this if she can. She does have a stamina point. She can choose to dodge. She will. She'll use one of her stamina points to dodge. Let's see how this goes. This time I got 2. That's not too bad. Let's roll this up. Too bad. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. She only has 12, so that's enough to beat her by 1. I've taken 1, 2, 3 more points of damage. -1 for her armor is 2 health. She is at 12. Those Merchounds were absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. That was something else. It's going to be our Waterloa. That is the next person to go in our initiative track. And our Waterloa does ask if there's a figure within Sphere of Influence with an effect. There is. So we'd remove any negative effects. Well, there aren't any negative effects, but I do have positive effects from a person within Sphere of Influence. And it will target the person that's closest in the initiative track. That will be Nightingale. Nightingale is going to lose her barrier. Now, before she loses her barrier, I'm going to remember my barrier and get 2 health back because I did get hit for 2 times. Being able to use the barrier before I lose it would be fantastic. I forgot about that when taking the damage from the Merchounds. At this point, we'll continue down. It says, is there one opponent adjacent? More than one opponent adjacent? No, there isn't. Is there an opponent within Sphere of Influence? Yes. Cast a spell 6, prioritizing the opponent with the lowest conviction value. The lowest conviction value is going to be Nightingale, 1, 2, 3, 4, inside the Sphere of Influence. The reasons it's Nightingale is because Remy has this coat, and this coat says your conviction upgrade is X, where X is equal to 1 of your equipped combat dice. Her conviction upgrade is actually a teal die, where Nightingale's conviction values are only double white. So I believe a double white is going to beat, a teal and a white will obviously beat a double white when it comes to conviction values. So we're going to take an attack from her as a spell 6, prioritizing the opponent with the lowest conviction value. So let's cast the Waterloa spell, who casts on a white die. Once that's done, that will be the end, which is kind of good. Let's see how our Waterloa's casting die is. 6 plus 6 is 12. That's out of control. 12, and I got a total of 11, so I am only going to take 1 magic damage. That's not bad. I'll drop my health down to 13. Padric is the only one we have left, and he's got a lot of different things that I could do with him. He can move 2 spaces. This movement doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity, which is pretty good. But here we go. We got a Vitality Drink. I'm going to spend 1 of my energy tokens to use this Vitality Drink to heal an ally 3 hit points. And that's going to be Rook. 1, 2, 3. He's going to go back up to 20. That'll be fantastic. And at this point, he is then going to use his Magic Balm for 1 of his stamina points, which he can then use an effect, remove an effect from an adjacent ally. That is also going to use 1 of his energy tokens, so he's out of energy tokens, but that's okay. He was able to heal Rook of his Paralyze, and he was able to heal him 3, which should hopefully help out a little bit. He now still has 4 stamina points he can use to do something. I don't really know what to do with him. He could run down and maybe attack one of the Merchounds. It would cost him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to move down to there. Or I could first off use my exhaust ability to allow him to move 2 spaces. I'm going to do that. Now, the 2 spaces he moves, from how I understand it, is not going to be affected by any of the terrain. So he can move 1, 2. Then at this point, he will use 1 of his stamina points to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to right here and try to attack that Merchound, because I don't really know. I think we're going to he's going to beeline it out of this place. That's going to be the plan, I hope. Or maybe I could just have, I could probably have Padric do it right now. I don't think I can hold up against all of this coming at me at one time. But hold on, the initiative track could change, and maybe there's a chance that I might be able to go before some of these and maybe take out one of these creatures. We'll have to see. Okay, we're going to give it a shot. We're going to attack a Merchound. What's the worst thing that can happen? The worst thing that can happen is I forgot to add in their +2 physical damage for each Merchound within Sphere of Influence. These should have each done an extra 2 points of damage to Nightingale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Should have taken 4 more. She is down to 9 health. That is what should have happened. Okay, new plan. If that happens again, she's dead. We're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're getting out of here. I can't deal with this anymore. So let's remove Padric from here and see if he can make it out. He certainly can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to this red exit. We're out of here. I can't deal with all that coming at me. My guys are almost dead. We were able to do the alternate ending here. Win condition and adventure ends their turn on a red exit. So we're able to get the reward of every member gains 1 experience points, and we're going to continue on to the adventure Rumors. This will be a short narration, so go ahead and listen to Rumors, and then we're going to move to a team split apart. A team split apart will be our next encounter. I'll be excited to see how this plays out. Now notice we did not get to go back and train and things of that nature. Also, we did not get to rest our characters. So they're going to be coming in with the hit points they have, unless they're less than half hit points, and I believe they heal up to at least half their hit points going into the next battle. But we're going to get this all set up in the next video. So there you have it. We are able to, I guess, escape from the ambush of these evil dog creatures. I got 4 dogs on the board that just wanted to eat me. That was absolutely amazing. And I think we got out at the right time. If this would have shuffled up and put all the monsters ahead of us, we could have lost a character potentially without any problem to one of these creatures. Multiple attacks against, especially these dogs, are brutal. I forgot the +2 attack. I even forgot you can't even attack them unless you're adjacent to them. These guys are something else. We're going to continue working on these guys. I'd like to get their bases painted up so that they're the same color as these so that you know which ones are activating. I apologize for not having that or even having a basing on that one. We'll work on that in our painting episodes that we do. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough of Middara. I really hope to continue with this game. My goal is to get through the first set of the first intentional act 1 of Unintentional Malum before the second Kickstarter arrives. We'll see if I'm able to do that. That's my goal. But of course we have to keep up with the painting of the miniatures because it looks so cool on the board. This is still one of my favorite dungeon crawlers I have ever played. The story is fantastic, and all the stuff that goes along tactically in combat is so much fun. Of course, some people believe that the dice are swingy, and they kind of are, but you do have some mitigation, which helps quite a bit. But overall, wow, these things came in and they came in red hot, firing at all cylinders. It was absolutely awesome to watch. So there you go. Thanks again so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit your bell symbol so you know when more Middara comes out. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments below. I would love to hear from everyone. Also, if you're interested in supporting the channel, my Patreon link will also be in the description of this video. Those that have already helped support the channel are located here on the screen. Thank you so much for your support. It means the world to me. Members of the Patreon get to do some of the following things. 1, I do put my videos out at least a day before I would put them out normally for everybody else, so you can see them without any commercial interruptions. On top of that, I do set out some polls every once in a while to help me decide what games we play, who plays in our games, and even sometimes how to upgrade our characters coming out of some of our playthroughs. Middara is a fantastic, amazing experience. Thank you again so much for watching, and if you're excited to see Middara or anything else, then I need you to meet me at the table.